What is going on, guys? Neon Zero here, and today we have a very special video. We are going to be reading the Inside Infinite for July 2021, which is going into the Halo Insider program, and possibly we're going to be learning about future flights. And because of that, I am super excited, so let's just hop right into the news. So without further ado, welcome to our latest for quick idea of when this is being recorded. This is before I had to work, and 23 minutes after it was initially posted. Welcome to our latest Inside Infinite, our monthly blog series that provides a closer look at the development of Halo Infinite. This month, we're diving into the efforts supporting the upcoming multiplayer technical preview, often referred to as flighting, to share interest into our goals, process, and what insiders should expect. We'll also take a closer look at the content and experiences included in this inaugural tech preview, which will focus on bots and weapon drills, two brand new additions to Halo. Don't forget to sign up, even though it may not guarantee that you get into the preview. It's still a good idea to sign up for the insider program. They go over how easy it is to do that, so I'll probably leave a link to the Halo Waypoint website and this Inside Infinite in the description here. Please note that registering as a Halo Insider doesn't guarantee access to the technical previews or pre-release hands-on gameplay tests flights. The number of insiders being invited and the criteria by which these insiders are selected will vary given specific scope and goals for a flight. For the tech preview, we have concurrency targets tied to our overall goals that will inform how many total insiders should be invited within that pool of players. Our first priority is ensuring we have a broad distribution of platforms, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and different PC configurations. And we will look at overall tenure in the program, prioritizing our longest standing insiders until we've allocated every invitation. We're excited by the outpouring of support and interest across the community, and the Halo Insider database has grown considerably. And the Halo Insider database has grown considerably, which is great news as we have eventually looked to stress our services and systems at an even greater scale. However, this also means that not every eligible Halo Insider is going to get an invitation, particularly early on as we deliberately taking a walk before we run approach. Our goal is to offer technical preview opportunities ahead of launch that will increase in scope for content and participants. So if you don't receive an invitation at this time, we ask that you please hang in there. Future opportunities are on the horizon. With that out of the way, let's dive into the depths of what it takes to create and, more importantly, support and operate a flight for a game like Halo Infinite. An exterior shot of live fire. Come fly with us. Before embarking on any game development journey, our teams spend time identifying the needs of our games and players, establishing measurable goals and milestones to ensure we're meeting those needs, and planning how best to verify how best to verify that we are, in fact, meeting those targets. Particularly, every aspect of game development is vetted and planned this thoroughly before it can become a reality. Over the last few years, the same process was instrumental in the journey to update and improve Halo: The Master Chief Collection and bring it all to PC. The same flighting model and partnering with Halo Insiders has been the cornerstone of MCC's ongoing seasonal updates. As well, it's safe to say that without the support and partnership with Halo Insiders and a robust flighting program, all of the goodness that happened with MCC wouldn't have been possible. Yeah, it probably would still be a really rough experience, but I'm super happy and grateful that 343 decided to re-look into the MCC and really just bring it back. All right, now applying that process to Halo Infinite, we had goals to robustly test our game and core service at a large scale and allow players to provide feedback on the game before launch. Next, we focus on outlining how to measure progress toward these goals. A hypothetical example would be we want to have matchmaking success rate of 100%. That's a great goal to have, but then the real work begins. Building systems that can reliably measure whether we are hitting these goals or not. In the matchmaking success rates example, this means adding code to the game client or our online services that can monitor and report when matches are made successfully, and more importantly, when they fail. Since our larger goals were dependent on what happened when players went hands-on with the game, we knew involving Halo Insiders for a technical preview would be the best call. Hosting a large-scale flight with insiders will give our team plenty of gameplay data to determine whether or not our systems, matchmaking challenges, etc., are working as intended. It also gives us an opportunity to gather and measure feedback from all kinds of players from all over the world. Now that we've talked about why behind the technical previews with Halo Insiders, let's take a look at what a technical preview really means and the specific goals the team is working towards. Technical previews, flights, and betas. What's in a name? Quite a lot, as it turns out. Different games across the industry, and even Halo games over the years, have had all sorts of pre-launch hands-on releases and tests that carry various official labels. Terms like alpha and beta often convey a certain expectation around polish and stability, breadth, marketing implications, and more. We're further along than what we would be truly considered an alpha, but also not really at a level that overall completeness some expect in a beta. We are specifically calling this a technical preview because we feel it best represents the goals we have, the build itself, and the experience that insiders will have. As you'll read below, our key driver and goal is truly technical in nature. We are looking to push our systems and services at a larger scale than we've been able to thus far, as an important step towards ensuring we are ready as possible when the floodgates fully open at launch this holiday. Feedback and other insights are certainly valuable, but first and foremost, we are testing and stressing the technical side of Halo Infinite. We also want to be very upfront and transparent about the fact that we will certainly have bumps and rough edges in this build. Our teams have been working hard to ensure that the build and experience is such that it can deliver our goals, but this is very much still a work in progress build, and we expect some hiccups and varying degrees of the course of the technical preview. For further context, this technical preview is a couple months behind where the development team and the main game build currently is given the process and the main game build currently is given the process and time it takes to go through all the gates steps before releasing to the public. All of our key known issues will be listed so participants will have a better understanding of what to look out for. Of course, gathering support tickets and on brand new issues is also immensely helpful at this scale. Despite our team's best efforts, nothing can truly substitute for true real-world large-scale testing, and we're sure to find new areas of opportunity over the course of the preview. And lastly, we've already mentioned this a few times in the blog, but the word flighting is fairly new in a lot of circles. So when you hear us mention flight, we are simply referring to a work-in-progress hands-on release on the road to launch. Flighting is the process by which pre-release builds are put out into the wild to to pursue specific goals, review data and outcomes, iterate and repeat, with the overarching goal of delivering the best shipping and experience come launch time. With that nomenclature and expectation setting out of the way, let's take a closer look at the key goals the 343 Industries team has for the Halo Infinite technical preview. Test the game and our core services at scale. Test the game and our core services at scale. We want to make sure the game and all of its supporting services are operating as expected, especially under the larger scale pressure of a technical preview by flighting the game to Halo insiders. We're going to see players uncover quirks in our online service and find wacky new bugs in the game and menus and so much more. The beautiful part of this process is that it's all intentional. Discovering these issues, small or major, months ahead of the launch is the entire point of flighting. We want to find these now so that we can address as many of them as we can before launch. Let's take a look at some of the areas we'll be monitoring during the upcoming technical preview. Stability. How stable is the game running across hardware specs and platforms? Is the game freezing or crashing at a certain time or on specific hardware? Getting a large-scale sampling of real-world hardware profiles is something we can really accomplish via a large-scale flight of this nature, and as we launch on PC for the first time, this is a critical focus for the team. Online services. Can all our interconnected online services function well at an immense scale? This is our largest bucket since it also includes so many intertwined services that need to function in perfect harmony. Matchmaking, server scaling, playlist serving the proper content, challenges, stats, post-game carnage report, battle pass progression, and store functionality, armor progression, partying with friends, etc. Halo Waypoint and Waypoint V next. Can our Halo Insider communication system and flighting tools function at scale? How do the Waypoint VNext app, iOS and Android, and web experiences feel and function as extensions of the game? Ooh, a cool new photo of Spartans fighting it out on the live fire map. Measuring game performance. Our team has already put in the hard work of developing the tools and to measure and collect information about nearly every scenario imaginable, such as game crashes or matchmaking failures, so technical previews will give us a unique opportunity to compare our internal data to see what shows up out in the wild. Measuring the game's stability and performance, especially at scale, is an integral part of a game's journey to launch. Now let's hear from a few members of the Halo Infinite team to see what they're monitoring and how they're measuring it during our technical previews. Okay, Sam Hanshaw, producer and live team. We're always looking at the rates of matchmaking success and availability of our services. After all, it's hard for people to play test the game if they're unable to play matches. We also keep an eye on how many matches are getting played to completion, and we receive data about how many people crash while playing. Brian Dunn, multiplayer test lead, and Brian Hughes, live test lead. The test team monitors a large number of specific areas over the course of the flight. First, we are watching the overall crashes and stability. We analyze the data on a per platform basis, identifying specific things like the most frequent crashes, and differentiate between known and new crashes. We use metrics such as MTTF, which means mean time to fall, or crashes per 1,000 hours of gameplay, as a way of quantifying overall stability. Next, we are also closely monitoring the overall quality of matchmaking, which includes reliability, load times, and skill matching. In addition, the performance of our dedicated servers, performance of the game itself, particularly across different PC configurations, and our overall netcode quality are all under scrutiny. And with Halo Infinite's greater emphasis on player customization, we're going to be paying close attention to progress challenges and which customization items people are unlocking and using. Lastly, we partner with the Halo support team to review tickets and bug reports to cross-reference against our telemetry to help understand real-world player impact and scope of an issue. We also lurk in the Halo Waypoint forums, Reddit, Twitch, and social to keep an eye out for anecdotal reports. Nate Jones, Engineering Lead, Service Life Cycle Team. If everything's going well, I'm able to play matches during a flight, and I'm not glued to logs monitoring. I keep the lobby service dashboard up to the side during the flight, watching the backend service performance health, dedicated service, server usage, number of players connected, matchmaking, ticket success rates, etc. And I'll occasionally get pulled into a mid-flight investigation and have to dig into the logs. Most of my team's flight monitoring takes place after the flight ends. Our normal post-flight plan is to thoroughly look over the lobby and skill service logs for errors, warnings, and weird stuff. That's on top of any deeper dives into specific experiments we were running during a flight. Jeff Guy, producer, PC team. I'm going to be monitoring Brian Dunn for cheating because he wipes the floor with me every time I play against him in a match. I'm only half joking. We've built a ton of different player-controlled settings for Halo Infinite, as well as support for a very vast array of player hardware. The PC team will be monitoring how the game holds up across that matrix of player choices. We'll be looking for things like drops in frame rate and crashes that happen with specific hardware. Configurations will be combining that information with their graphic settings and peripherals, how many people are rocking ultra-wide setups, who is pushing 4K or 8K resolution, who is playing with unlocked frame rate versus locked at 144, with a custom key binding, what custom key bindings players are choosing, etc. Ensuring our PC players can play Infinite the way they want is everything to us, and we'll be closely watching for any problems when they do. How do your team measure that information? Sam Hanshaw says, we have a general release health dashboard that displays information on matchmaking errors or any crashes that are happening. There is also a wealth of information in the server logs and the team can dig into during the investigations to figure out what broke and when. We also have a great support team who are capturing bug reports and support ticket submissions. These are what we'll dive into after each flight is completed to get a picture of the experience through player observation and bugs. The information we get from those tickets is valuable for helping us track down the issue, and also for knowing how many individual people an issue is bothering and how often it's bothering each of them. Brian Dunn and Brian Hughes, we have a robust suite of tools and systems that feeds critical information into our teams for real-time and reactive monitoring. Anytime a player crashes, a system called Watson uploads a detailed crash report which feeds into our internal crash reporting website, Ticket Track. Like Nate and the services team, We also use Custo, which helps us understand the data we're receiving and converts it into something useful for reporting purposes. Speaking of reports, we use Power BI reports for any of the data we need to visualize, and then all of this feeds into our Azure DevOps database for bug tracking. Our team uses data from all these sources to get an understanding of the quality of the flight and ensures we're making the right improvements and for current and future flights. We use Custo Azure Data Explorer for most of our ad hoc data analysis. I spent a lot of time writing queries that join service, dedicated servers, and client telemetry events together to figure stuff out. We have a bunch of pre-built glyphs and dashboards using an internal Microsoft program called Geneva. We've also got a few internal tools, bespoke websites. One's called Lobby Logs. It's like a mini search engine for the Halo lobby service that can trace a player's parties, matches, and correlate their sessions with the other players and parties involved in the matchmaking process or eventual game session. The guy says, we have a lot of tools and telemetry is already set up to capture a lot of this data, even at a scale. When someone crashes, for example, the game will automatically upload a crash report to us. Our team can look at the details of each specific crash or use that information to spot a pattern that could indicate a larger problem in terms of player settings. We'll get telemetry data when players save their key bindings and video settings. Since a good portion of that information is saved to our online services, we can even check to see if a player's frame rate drops during a session. Gathering a full picture of the different settings and variables enables us to quickly narrow down our investigations and fix issues fast. All right, what do you and your team consider a success? We want players to be able to consistently play matches of Halo Infinite. The more matches they can play, the more issues they can find for us to deal with. Every new issue players are able to find that we're not a success, that we were not is a success for me. Anything that gets found during flighting is something that's found before the game launches, resulting in a better game for everyone when we release. I know I've talked about problems a lot, but overall we also consider a flight a success when we see people having fun playing the game. In the studio, we'll be in the flight with you, and while we've got tons of information we need to gather to make this game the best we can at launch, we're also looking forward to playing alongside you and opening dialogue about our road to launch. Everyone who is going to participate in our upcoming flights, I want to say thank you for helping us make the game better. And I hope I get in, and either way, I appreciate the chance to gain an opportunity to play the game. Even if I'm not selected, I'm looking forward to seeing all the content that other people can produce. All right, Brian Dunn and Brian Hughes say, success for us is when we're able to meet or exceed our internal targets while not having too many big surprises. You always learn something new when so many people play your game for the first time. But hopefully there's nothing completely unexpected. We'll be looking specifically at our matchmaking quality to real world issues versus our target, as well as our crash counts and rates actuals versus what we anticipated. We also hope to see player feedback and data coming in that aligns with our own internal expectations for overall quality at this stage of the project. Nate Jones, selfishly, one hallmark of success is when nobody needed to activate my team's on-call process and phone someone for mid-flight engineering support. At a high level, success is getting usable data from the flight. Good news is great, but bad news is still valuable. We're always looking at general health issues, CPU, mem bandwidth, matchmaking speed and quality, etc. And we'll have general performance, quality and performance targets, but any given flight also has specific experiments we're running. For example, during an internal flight in April, we did some explicit tests around how our pool of dedicated servers would fall back or fall over to a secondary pool if we run low on machines. That April test was technically a failure. We didn't see the expected players using the secondary server pool, but we narrowed the issue down to a bug in an external team's systems, and they were able to find and fix the problem with our flight data. Jeff Guy says, creating a first-class PC game is all about embracing player identity and all the awesome diversity that comes with it. PC players build their gaming rigs to reflect the way they want to play and we are making sure Halo Infinite honors that. The challenges, of course, is that supporting such a diverse array of hardware and software creates a lot of ways for things to break. Our team considers flights a success if we're able to find issues that we might not have seen if we didn't put the game into the hands of our players. That is critical to ensuring every PC player within our min spec has an awesome experience on day one. Also, we'd love to see which custom keybinds players use, or better yet, see players choose to use by the default key bindings, because that would mean we are close to them. We chose them well. We appreciate you taking the time to share your insights and expertise with our community today. It's reassuring to know the issues they may encounter during flighting are usually seen by the team, and there's rarely a need to wonder, is 343 seeing this? Since you have built tools to do exactly that, we'll let you get back to preparing for the technical preview now. Thank you again. Player feedback. Gathering input from our players during a technical preview is critical to our success at launch and beyond. The sooner we receive feedback, the sooner we can plan and action that feedback. On that note, we want to clarify that with this technical preview, we are entering the next step in what's been a multi-year process and journey where the team has been regularly getting critical feedback via user research and private flights. Naturally, the scale of the technical preview is greater than anything we've done to date, and that brings unique and value and opportunities to capture even more perspectives. But just know that community feedback has been at the core of development since the very beginning, and it will continue to remain a critical pillar going forward beyond launch. Now let's take a look at which areas of the game we'll specifically be focusing for the feedback during technical preview. The feedback focus areas are core gameplay. We want to know how you feel about the core combat experience. How do you feel about player movement, weapon balance, equipment, etc.? How fun is it to engage in a battle in Halo Infinite? Maps and modes. How did you feel about the design and flow of the maps? Are the maps and mode both fun and fair? Academy weapon drill and Academy's weapon drills. Did weapon drills give you a good understanding of how a weapon functions? How fun were the various weapon drills? Menu and Battle Pass UI. How intuitive was the menu navigation? Were you able to understand your progression through the Battle Pass? Were you able to find and equip customization easily? We have a picture of the new threat detector item. Measuring feedback. While it's critical, player feedback can be a bit nebulous, can be a bit of a nebulous cloud of forum posts, tweets, and YouTube videos, which can make it hard to measure in some cases. Luckily, we have a two-pronged approach to gather this information: measure it and then share it with the team. The two prongs in this case are the Xbox user research team and the 343 community team. The Xbox UR team gathers measurable and quantifiable data through surveys that will be sent out at the end of the flight. These surveys ask detailed questions that drive deep into the core of a player's experience of the flight and turn that experience into measurable data. Since we have survey data from the entire history of Halo, they help us compare our current scores to the best scores across all the games. We can also compare scores from the different times or flights of the game to see how specific aspects are progressing over time. They put together some of the most useful reports we can read, and it's all coming straight from what you, the players, are saying about the game. The community team dives into the amorphous realm of online interaction mentioned above. We set up focused feedback threads here on the Waypoint forums, listen to players on Twitter, check the Halo subreddit multiple times a day, and watch videos and streams from Halo players, etc. We take all those posts and videos and distill their messages into positive, neutral, and negative themes. When doing so, it isn't just about volume, though. Anyone can send a lot of tweets. Our team focuses on the severity, or how much does it affect an individual, and scope, how many players, when reporting on these themes. More often than not, even though we use different ways to collect player feedback, the Xbox user research team and 343 community teams see similar themes emerge. These two inputs help the team compare Halo Infinite's current state with its previous scores, previous Halo titles, as well as the development team and player expectations. Using these comparisons, we can recognize which areas need improvement, which areas are performing as expected, and which are exceeding targets. After reviewing this feedback, we identify opportunities and prioritize the areas we want to go after. Transparency. It's important to note that while we're going to be listening closely, there will be some feedback that we can act on before launch. Some feedback will have to fit into the game's roadmap, and additional feedback we won't or cannot take on. That said, we will communicate what will and won't be changing in the game. What will and won't be changing in the game as a result of the technical preview, and why. As a part of this commitment to transparency, the team will meet to go over hot topics and common pieces of player feedback that emerged during the flight, which we call themes. After reviewing these themes, the team will spend time investigating, figuring out if they agree and want to act on it, and when in the schedule we can take action on them. Again, there will be some things we can't act on before launch this holiday, and that's okay. We plan on supporting Halo Infinite for years to come, and this feedback will all be captured to help inform future products or priorities. Once we've done the due diligence on our side, when we then work on putting together an outcomes report that outlines our plans for each and every one of those key feedback themes. From there, we'll work to surface that information to you, our players, likely through a post here on Halo Waypoint. Here we have another picture of a hallway in the map Recharge. Bugs and issues. When it comes to bugs and issues specifically, we ask Halo insiders to utilize the Halo support, aka .ns/Halo support site to file a ticket. When the technical preview goes live, everyone who is invited will receive an email and waypoint message that includes some important links to known issues, documentation along with where and how to file a support ticket to help keep everything tidy. A support section of the Halo support site is created exclusively for insiders who are invited to a current active flight. This helps ensure that tickets are only coming from players who are actually participating in the flights and keeps flight tickets fully separate from retail tickets, particularly in the case of the MCC. As always, we ask that you read the known issues list first so you have context for the issues the team is already aware of and thus don't require a support ticket. Anything a player encounters that's not on the list is incredibly valuable to the team, and we thank you in advance for taking the time to submit these tickets. Upcoming technical preview. Now with the foundation of flighting set, let's talk about the content and goals of our first upcoming technical preview, which will focus on bots and a slice of the new Academy experience. The technical preview is focused on these specific areas to help us gather some scale data as we bring these new experiences to Halo for the first time. As we look further ahead, we plan on future flights to expand into more content, including traditional PvP arena and big team battle. With this and our higher level feedback goals noted above, we land on the following specific focal points. With this in mind, the focus area of our technical preview are arena gameplay versus bots, arena maps, Academy's weapon drills, menu and battle pass UI, new waypoint experiences on web and iOS app. To gather specific feedback on these areas, our first flights will contain the following. Content experiences. We have another picture of the live fire map here. Alright, bot arena. Halo Infinite is the franchise's first foray into the world of multiplayer bots to provide a totally new multiplayer experience for players to gather feedback on bot behavior and online performance. We'll be debuting the bot arena playlist, which puts 4 players against 4 bots on arena maps. For this technical preview, the bot arena experience will feature Slayer across 3 maps in this build: Bot Slayer on Bazaar, Recharge, and Live Fire. To keep players on their toes and keep the experience engaging, we're planning for a daily content offering that will evolve over the course of the flight based on overall engagement of participants. We're going to intentionally start things off slow to help everyone get acclimated, but as the community gets up to speed and slays copious amounts of bots, our goal is to crank things up and provide a greater challenge and variety. Bot Arena is a great place to familiarize yourself with Halo's gameplay and maps in a stress-free environment. The bots still have their quirks, which is why we're flighting them, but they certainly aren't pushovers. Be prepared. Academy weapon drills. As a part of the Academy experience, another first for Halo, weapon drills offer players a brand new way to learn how each weapon functions before entering the heat of battle. Dropping you into a firing range area, features moving and strafing bots for target practice. The weapon drills feature different levels of difficulty in the star rating system. The more damage you deal to the bots, the higher you'll score. A picture of the new Bulldog shotgun. In this upcoming technical preview, we're planning to include the following subset of weapon drills: the AR, the battle rifle, the sidekick, the Bulldog, Needler, the new Commando, the Sniper, Plasma Pistol, Pulse Carbine, Ravager, Heatwave, and Skewer. There have been times in studios when people would prepare would compare their best scores in these weapon drills. It always leads to some fun, healthy competition, especially when it comes to the BR and Sniper. Share your best weapon drill scores with us by tweeting us at Halo. Battle Pass challenges, menus, and customization. On top of the gameplay focused experiences above, we also want to make sure that the game's menu navigation feels intuitive. We're especially interested in seeing how players move through the UI to unlock their battle passes, check their challenges, use the store, and apply their earned customization elements in the armor hall. In order to allow Halo Insider to unlock their battle pass and unlock various customization options, we'll be granting invited accounts a set amount of in-game credits, CR. Players will be free to use their CR how they see fit, but customization items unlocked during the technical preview will not carry over to the game's release later this year. Similar to how we're only flighting with a subset of arena maps and modes, the technical preview will feature a truncated battle pass and a small fraction of the customization options we have planned for launch. The key focus is ensure the battle pass and customization and challenge unlocking systems and customization equipping settings are both functioning properly and hold up at a scale. The reason for these battle pass challenges and customization systems is the flight is purely technical and isn't meant to showcase of our launch content, so please don't read into it that much. Plus, wouldn't you want us to have some super cool content for launch? Here we have a picture of a Spartan with their AI, which I believe this AI is Lumu. The new Waypoint app and web. Lastly, in coordinates with these Halo technical previews, we will also be flighting our new Halo Waypoint web and mobile experiences. Halo Insiders should be able to view their battle pass progression and challenges, and even customize their Spartans. All Halo Insiders that were invited to the technical preview will be able to view and take advantage of these experiences, which will be directly connected to their profiles in the flight. We're extremely interested in hearing what people think about the navigation and functionality. You can learn more about the updates to the upcoming Waypoint by reading our latest Inside Infinite here. Please note, if you're not invited, you may still download the Halo Waypoint app, but the integration of a Halo Infinite technical preview will not function for you. Now, I did make a video on this, but that has sadly lost to time because of both technical issues, and I wasn't satisfied with the quality. Taxing to the tarmac. We know the largest question now is, when is the technical preview? The release of this blog means we're getting very close, but the flighting itself is still a fluid process. We need to ensure we've successfully cleared our final gate before we're officially to go. That said, we've been given the okay to say our first bot-focused technical preview could happen as soon as the next weekend. What? Prior to the flight starting, we're planning a live stream where we'll dive into the actual build and walk through nearly every facet of the technical preview. Stay tuned. We'll be hosting hundreds of thousands of Halo Insiders during the first technical preview, and then if it all goes well, we'll invite even more eligible Halo Insiders for the next flight. We want to start at a reasonable number of participants before potentially going to a much larger player pool, but our goal is to eventually get every eligible Halo Insider a chance to go hands-on and help us achieve our goal on the road to launch. Remember, if you don't get in this time, please don't despair. More opportunities will come. The most important thing now is to make sure if you're a Halo Insider, you will need to be a verified Halo Insider. See instructions at the top of this article to ensure you can be invited to any and all Halo Infinite's flights. And yes, the technical preview will be all good to stream and create content around. Feel free to share your experience with us and others. We'll have even more specifics to share the technical preview as soon as we're locked, but be sure to follow Halo on Twitter for the latest news and info. Until then, stay frosty. Thank you for your continued support. We can't wait to take this next step together. Now, as we do for all Halo Inside Infinite, all Inside Infinites, let's hear from more folks around the studio as we close out with a few words from Joseph Staten. And here's a quick look at the Bazaar map. Tales from the Trenches. One of the many challenges in building a game for simultaneous release on a broad range of hardware is ensuring all of our content management and engine systems can dynamically scale to make best use of the console or PC without bogging it down. Memory has been a big concern for me, and I'm super proud of what we managed to accomplish in upgrading all of our technology to support a much larger game than Halo 5 on the same platform, while also allowing it to breathe and greatly improve its visual quality on newer, more powerful hardware. That was Alexander David, Principal Development Lead. One thing that I'm particularly excited about is getting involved in the process for final tuning for the ranked competitive settings for Halo Infinite. It really is a robust cross-team effort that includes multiplayer sandbox competitive insights, formerly known as Pro Team, and more teams filled with designers, producers, and engineers that get into the nitty-gritty details about everything. Does this flag need to be moved a few feet over? What was that one spawn you got in the middle of that game that had a really big impact in the moment? Does each team have an equal chance to get the grapple shot on this map? For highly skilled players, these questions are critical. They mean not only ranking up in the game, but potentially millions of dollars as well as when you put it into the HCS. It's just fun to nerd out about these little details and thinking about how they roll up into the larger principles that have made up competitive Halo. For now, just about 2 decades, and then of course, with all games, as soon as there's a competitive play, as soon as all of the competitive players around the world get their hands on it, the meta will evolve. We'll jump right back into the nitty-gritty again and again over time. That was the Esports League. I have no idea how to say his name. Part of working together for a long time as a team that you develop an internal shorthand for things. And our team shorthand tends to be very whimsical. Someone on our team once jokingly called the Halo combat dance of strafing and jumping as giving them the old razzle dazzle. And the name stuck. Now that we have intense debates all about how we can get the bot razzle dazzle to feel just right. I recently fixed the bug I affectionately deem the wiggle cap bug. In certain edge cases, bots thought they couldn't make a jump when they totally could. The resulting behavior was them rapidly dancing back and forth at the edge of jumps like a cat, debating if it can make the leap onto the kitchen counter. I'm a little sad to see it go because it was kind of cute. Brie Chandelier. I'm so sorry for butchering your name, ma'am. Senior gameplay engineer. As always, tremendous thanks to those that have the time to look into to share their stories. Which now leads us to our conclusion of our Inside Infinite, the final parting words once again with Joseph Staten. Another photo of Bazaar, this time of an interior area. These maps look so good, dude. I'm getting major, like for Bazaar, I'm getting major Halo 2 vibes. Bazaar got beat down. Bazaar bot beat down. I'm very glad our first flight is shining a spotlight on our multiplayer bots. They are without a doubt one of my favorite features of Halo Infinite. In the early Halo games, they were a feature that we always wanted to land, but that consistently got cut due to limited time and resources. So I'm very happy we've been able to make them happen this time around. What's it like to fight against Infinite's bots? Bots come in four flavors: Recruit, Marine, ODST, and Spartan, with each level representing an increase in bot skill. The first time I played a match against these bots, I decided to set the difficulty at ODST, assuming they would be competitive, but not too challenging. I mean, not for me, right? A grizzled Halo veteran with 2 years of Halo PvP. Well, within 30 seconds of the start of the Slayer match in the Sunbank's New Mombasa Street Market. Oh my god, no wonder why I was getting Halo 2 maps. It's literally set in New Mombasa. At the center of the arena map Bazaar, I found myself in a classic Halo combat dance with a bot who did an alarmingly good job of sidestepping shots from my sidekick pistol and then dropped my shield with a well-thrown frag grenade. As I retreated from the market, though, through an archway, prepped the bot with a few more rounds, I thought. Peppering the bot with a few more rounds, I thought. No worries, I'll just crouch behind one of these wooden doors, wait for my shields to recharge, because I'm pretty sure this bot won't be smart enough to. At that point, the bot sprinted out through the door, clocked my position, and finished me off with 2 confident blasts from its Bulldog shotgun. So yes, as we mentioned earlier, be prepared. Some of the examples of bot behavior ODST and Spartan bots will effectively dodge grenades and rockets. Recruit and Marines will not. All bots use equipment, and higher level bots will grapple shot to finish you with a melee kill. I've seen them do it with an energy sword, which is amazing and terrifying. Bots keep track of power weapon spawns and sprint to claim them. But most importantly, bots are fair. We don't change their health and damage values per difficulty. They just get smarter and more resourceful the higher you go. And that's exactly what we're going to do in our tech preview flight. Start the bots on Marine difficulty, and then let you work your way up to Spartan. Good luck, we hope you have a blast, and as always, we sincerely appreciate your support. And that was from Joseph Staten. And for you, dear viewer, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I'm not consistent on YouTube, but I am way more consistent over on my Twitch, link in the description below. And I appreciate you taking your time to watch this video, and I hope to see you guys in the near future, for whatever it may be. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope I get into this flight.